Bartolomé de las Casas says that something even worse actually happened. He says that when Roldan made basically like an agreement with Colón, part of the agreement was the following. He says, tan gran rey como ve hecho, que el almirante diese para que sirviese a Roldán, y Roldán lo diese a los hombres viles, y quizá entre ellos azotados para los servir, y que repartiesen entre sí sus vasallos, qué mayor tiránica maldad. In other words, it could be possible that when Roldan and Colón fixed things, he, Pecho, was given as a gift to Roldan. The only problem with this is that we know that Colón was not on the island when this was happening. But it could have been that the timeline is just funky. And when Colón came back in 1498, only a year later, he made this arrangement. But we don't know 100%. What we do know is that by the time Roldan was in full force, ANACAONA was by herself. But Francisco Roldan had some sort of magic juice or something, because he had people that supported him through and through. And another person that supported him was Diego Colón, El Indio Diego Colón, the one who had been by Cristobal Colón's side since the very beginning and served him as an interpreter. So Anacaona is caught in the middle of this. She has Roldan just being a menace. Cristobal Colón is back on the island. And all through this, her daughter is then not taken, but put in the middle of a huge, huge mess. But I want to give Iguana Mota her own episode, so I will speak on what exactly happened to her later on. So imagine her frustration. She is a leader, she's a mother, and she's soon going to be a grandmother. So we could just imagine also the fear. She's the leader of all of these people, and they're all looking to her to solve this. Anacaona, we know, was a pacifist. She did not encourage fighting. She did not go out there trying to battle nobody, even though I know that there's some that have portrayed her in that way. She was a pacifist. She did not want conflict. So her approach, unfortunately, was to work with the invaders and try to get a treaty and have good relations with them. But what she didn't know was that Colón had lost his right to be the administrator of the island. Because honestly, I believe that if Colón had stayed as the administrator, we wouldn't have seen the events that later unfolded. In 1499, Francisco Bobadilla came to the island, sent by the Catholic kings to replace Colón. That same year, Colón's younger sons were still in Spain, and they were sent out to the countryside because the rumors about Colón's conduct on the island were so severe that it was feared that the children might be attacked. In 1500, Colón is put into chains by Bobadilla. And not only him, but both of his brothers are also chained and shipped back to Spain. This was November 25th, 1500, when he finally arrived on the Spanish shores. He had to wait until December of that year in order to get an audience with the queen. He's given his audience, he is pardoned, supposedly, but at the end of the day, he is stripped from his mission and given a different mission. You are not to return to the island of La Española. In his stead, Nicolas de Ovando is named governor of the island. Fray Nicolas de Ovando was sent to replace Bobadilla, because this was just a game to these people. Estaba primero Cristobal Colón, they complained about him, they sent Bobadilla to confirm or discredit the accusations against Colón. Then there were accusations against Bobadilla, so then they sent Nicolas de Ovando to kick out Bobadilla and replace himself as administrator of the island. Nicolas de Ovando arrives in 1501, and from the beginning, he immediately takes over and takes everything. similar to Francisco Bobadilla when he first arrived. Roldan hears about the arrival of Nicolas de Ovando, and he gets a feeling that this dude is not to be played with. So what does he do? He goes, presents himself, and says, you know what? I need a ticket out of here. I need to get off this island. Nicolas says, oh, no problem. There is literally a boat leaving with Francisco Bobadilla, who I'm kicking off the island. You can go with him. On the boat is also the captured cacique, Guarionex. They hop onto the boat in June 1502 with about 30 ships carrying what today would be the equivalent, más o menos, of $14 million in gold. But the Taino gods were not happy with this. And on July 2nd, 1502, a hurricane blows through and sinks the ships. More than 500 people drown. Out of those 30 ships, only one survives. The smallest of the ships, named La Aguja. And this one ship was the only one carrying Cristobal Colon's gold.